The year is 1094. It is early September in the village of Borden. You feel an icy chill all the way to your bones, and several feet of snow are piled up outside. Bizarre weather has persisted for weeks. Snow and hail destroying the crops, livestock turning up dead. The camera pans over, and as the scene shifts, snow still falling in thick sheets, as we enter an unassuming wooden building. Dozens of hanging candles are above this floor, and there is a tapestry of a gnarled tree, with stars where one may expect leaves to be. A woman kneels on the floor, head bowed. She wears flowing robes, a wooden staff lays in front of her. Another figure approaches, long white beard and heavily wrinkled skin. He places a hand on her shoulder, and she looks up, as he gives her a solemn nod. We fly across to the other side of the village, to a small home. A woman with graying hair, wearing a leather apron, covered in soot, steps out of a room. Her arms are full, as she approaches two twins, young man and woman, clad head to toe in gleaming armor. She hands the man a massive tower shield, a family crest of two bones, sharpened, pointing upward, and one across, mimicking a sword. Turning towards the daughter, she hands a great sword, same symbol crafted into the hilt. She grabs them both tightly into an embrace, tears streaming down her face. And we pull away to one final location in Borden. At a dimly lit table, a man sits draped in fine silks and furs. He sits on a plush chair, poring over dozens of notes, papers, and schematics. He takes a sip of wine from his crystal glass, lets out a gruff sigh, and stands. We see him grab a crossbow and walk out the front door. Then, we're at the village limits. Your friends, family, neighbors all stand to see you off. The elder from the humble church steps forward. Irene, Crimson and Callista. Sigmaris, you take our hopes, blessings, and very future with you. Have you any parting words?
Well, I'm certainly ready for some slaying. Anyone else?
If we die, do tell our stories.
Character just nods.
I certainly hope no one dies while we're out there, otherwise I won't be doing my particular practice as well.
As the four would-be heroes turn and walk away. You see scenes of them traveling across the frozen countryside. Before see them at a bridge, rushing water and craggy rocks below, and a slight ethereal shimmer, about 8 feet in diameter, at the very bottom. You each exchange glasses and bound off towards the breach below. As you pass through, we see you gently float down into a room made of glass and silver. The four of you stand in this chamber alone. On the other side of the glass, you see only inky darkness, pulsing and undulating. Dozens of glass tubes spiral off in every direction.
Well, we're not going to do anything standing here, are we? That's an 8.
So on a 7 to 9, the area you arrive at contains either denizens or traps. What happens is, as you guys are standing there and you are trying to figure out where to go next, you hear the glass begin to splinter underneath you and on the walls.
I would like to try to assess and read a dangerous situation if there should be one.
So that is C clear. That is rolling plus glass.
Yeah. Okay. That's a 9.
Good. On a 9. Which is a hit. You choose one. Either you are where you need to be, someone else will have a clear path to you, or a particular threat isn't a problem any longer.
Say then we're where we need to be.
Okay.
The first one.
I'm going to give your action a cost, and what this is going to be is contamination. How does that come out for you? Tell me. You are corrupting yourself to do this.
Oh. Okay. So I think there is a moment where Irene is kind of to herself and trying to parse out what in the world, like where in the world are they, and if it is in fact the right path that they're supposed to be on. And she clutches this necklace that's around her neck, and it's very much like a if anyone has been inside of the local church, the symbol that was described earlier, a gnarled kind of tree-like structure with a cluster of stars for leaves. And if you looked really closely inside of those leaves, you would see small eyes in between them. But she clutches that, and she whispers a small prayer out to the expanse, asking it for guidance and helping her see what she needs to see. I think the corruption comes about in her eyes. I think that she no longer, like the whites of her eyes, since she has accepted being part of the fellowship or founding this place, the whites of her eyes have slowly begun to disappear. As the more that she gets corrupted, the more darkness envelops her eyes.
With Irene's kind of guidance and clear sight, we see the four run off towards one of the tubes that just her sight has guided her to. We also see, as these four adventurers run off, we see some of the black beginning to seep in the room and slowly trail towards Irene. And we see afterward is different scenes of these four setting their path forward. A montage of exploring, camping, battling monstrous denizens. A task spanning weeks. Until, finally, we see them in front of a tall staircase leading to a massive set of silver double doors.
I'd like to inspect the big silver double doors.
Okay.
Give them a good once-over.
See clear would probably be the most. As you get close, you feel just an icy chill once again, even as you approach, coming from these doors. You feel this cold.
Say, it's emitting an awfully cold aura beyond this door. Should be careful. Doesn't seem to be overly intricate otherwise.
I'll step forward and start pushing or pulling it open, whichever direction it's supposed to go in.
As you open, you feel an intense wind of ice and frost hit your face. And as you walk forward, you hear the crunch of snow beneath your boots. What you see before you is a large chamber covered in frost, large pillars of ice jutting out from every direction, floor to ceiling. A figure sits on a throne on the other side of this massive chamber. He has long blue hair and an immaculate white formal wear.
I'll peek from behind you. Hello there?
He stands up. Oh, you've made it this far. He extends a hand forward. A massive greatsword, blade made of glistening ice, materializes in this figure's hands as he steps towards you. But I won't let you interfere. And he begins to charge. Now,
well, I'm made for interfering.
Good. You're now using your confrontation moves.
So I have confront or strike, right?
So here's the big thing about how this game works, and this is kind of for me too. No one will be able to strike until an opening is made. So with either confront, line it up, dodge, those three moves someone can do to create openings, and then someone can strike.
I'd like to try to create an opening by shooting his hand that's holding the greatsword.
Okay. What are you gonna do with that? Are you doing lined up?
I think that's line it up, yeah. And I gained a +1 forward.
Yep.
So here I go, +2. 11.
Very good. So here's what you can do. Either the foe is going to make you the highest priority. The opening will last a few moments. Attempts to use the opening without one weapon perk have disadvantage. Alright, so we see Cygnus point his crossbow and line it up and just pierce this. It pierces through his wrist and into his hand. He hasn't dropped it, but his sword arm just falls limp to falls to the side in shock and recovery. And there is now an opening.
I'd like to take the opening,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yes.
Yep, I'm gonna take out both hook swords and just try and sink them into him and grab some ribs.
So you lodge both of these swords into him and kind of angle it in a way so that the great sword goes flying from his hands. And as you do this, he begins to place his hands on them, and you see frost beginning to form.
And try to maybe swing around to the side to get one of his arms so that it maybe disrupts whatever kind of spell casting he's doing.
Sure. This would be confront. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus I am.
Oh no! That's a 5.
That's a flat-out failure. So,
Good start, good start.
Going to happen. What happens is this: as he's grabbing these hooks inside of him, and you see the ice rapidly begin to cool, and you see this the cold mist coming off of it as they break inside of him. You lost the tether tag from those weapons, Chris. And with that failure as well, you take 2 harm, Callista, as he turns this frost hand to you and puts it on you. And you feel just your arm, just icy.
I would like to respond to that.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would like to gesture towards Callista with the staff that I have, holding onto my symbol on my neck. And I want to channel some old magics and try to, I don't know if I can heal from a distance, or if I have to be next to it, because I'll go up to her if I need to
To
heal her.
You from it. You using stand with me? Yeah, you can heal from distance.
Yeah. Okay.
Roll plus sulfur.
Plus sulfur. Yeah. And it's like a prayer, something like those who came before look down and close these wounds. Oh no, it's only a 4. Oops. Sorry.
As you, we are going to say you ran up for the purposes of this failure. As you run up and he sees you approach and just kind of start chanting, holding your staff aloft as you do, he and his hand is currently on Callista. You see his form begin to become translucent just for a second, and then it shatters into icy spikes, piercing both of you for 3 harm. Both
That's
Callista
too many harm.
and Irene. And
Does that mean I'm dead?
so what you can do in this game,
Did I just
what you can do
die?
in this game is fucking
5
die
minutes.
right now.
5 minutes in.
No.
Right now.
When you take
Goodbye.
when you take a lot of damage, if anyone's familiar with kind of Urban Shadows rules, it's there you can take wounds to mitigate damage. So this was 3 harm. Either of you could take a major wound instead of taking this damage.
Great! I'll do that!
Okay. You have
Wonderful!
I won't.
Okay. You have 2 choices now. Frenzy, and you'll get advantage on your next attack, or Play Possum.
I think she'd probably frenzy,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah, like ice shards sticking out of your, like, in between the cracks of your shining armor. We see your teeth grit as you begin to focus. And what the 2 others, Crimson and Cygnus, would see is that while this being turned translucent and shattered, in one of the icy pillars you see his reflection now. You see his form.
Gonna break one of the icy pillars that his reflection is in. A 7.
Good. Not a failure.
Because that was glass.
Yeah.
Glass, right? Yeah, glass. 7.
Oh, I get it. These are bad. So it's... Yeah, it's... You have to pick 2 of them. Okay. So it only lasts 2 months. That was fine. It was applicable. Either you can be the highest priority or disadvantage. Or...
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The foe, I'm gonna say the foe makes you its highest priority.
Okay.
And then I'm also gonna say the opening lasts only a few moments.
Okay. You line up the crossbow and start shooting at the shard he is in. And as he does, you see, like, just as the crossbow bolt impacts, you see his form land on the ground, outside of this thing. But he looks like surprised and dazed and a little bit off his hinges, as you would guess.
Okay.
Crimson.
If he comes for me, I'm just gonna start rolling away.
Yeah, he's currently looking at you, not Crimson.
Okay, good.
Well then, I'm gonna run up and give him the strike. Physical force.
Nice.
I'm gonna try and, if he's on the ground with his hands on the ground, I'm just gonna try and cleave his hand off.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Does that seem applicable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done harm with hands. That makes sense.
+1, that is 8. GM picks 1. Yeah, I don't do anything. You pick 1. Mm-hmm.
You cleave off his hands. Are you going to use the damage hook sword, or are you going to use the massive shield? Either way would
If
work.
he's on the ground, use the massive shield
Nice,
and
I
just
like that.
kind of chop him off.
Awesome. His hands, he screams as his hands fall limp, and he looks to you, just rage in his eyes, and he, with his arms, or hands now gone, latches onto you and grabs you in a bear hug. And then you don't see them anymore. You see them turn translucent and they're gone.
Good luck holding on to me, Stubbs.
Which,
Did we win?
you don't see him at all, nor do you see Crimson. They're just gone. I'm using foe separates you from others or puts you in a spot. You see them on the other side of the room. You see them fighting within one of the crystals. You now see your brother trapped across the room in an ice crystal, fighting with this being, pointed out by Irene.
Well, first of all, I don't look too great. In the midst of being probably a little panicked and a little pissed and a little frenzied, I will... Oh my god, I don't know if I should break it. That makes me scared. Is it possible to just take a moment and, like, survey to see if, like, do we see anything in any of the other crystals around here, or?
So, an option you can do in this, by the way, is you can choose to use your exploration moves in confrontations, but they will not create openings. So if you'd like to roll see clear,
Okay.
you can do that, plus glass, but it will not create an opening for anyone.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to do that anyway, since I'm kind of bleeding out, so I'll just give myself a moment to read the room. 10.
10. You can ask me 3 questions. I'll answer the one that's obvious. What can the enemy do here? Use these crystals as a mode of transportation. It's
Okay.
moving around in these things.
Well, I don't know if you'd be able to answer it, but is there any way for me to tell that, like, if we got rid of the crystals, would he then be stuck here, or would he dissipate? If they're a mode of transportation.
I don't think you would know whether he would... You know that would be a good thing to do. You don't know if it would destroy him. I will tell you that. It would weaken him for sure. You can tell, like, by chopping off his hands, removing his greatsword, he has gotten weaker. Doing that would weaken him as well. You're not sure if it would destroy him entirely. Crimson, you are fighting, like, in a ice-cold, just void floating with this being. Just, like, yeah, just both punching each other with his bloody stumps. And as you hear like the muffled voices shouting from outside. You see him place both feet on you and kick away as he exits this crystal, and you are trapped inside. You see his stump form a giant ice pick as he lands right towards Irene, who is his highest priority right now. And you are stabbed for 3 harm through the chest.
So now's the time that I will take,
Sure.
not 3 harm.
Major wound.
Yeah.
You can either frenzy or you can play possum. Playing possum, you just like,
Yeah.
as you're like, you fake dead, your body pulls away from this ice spike, and there is blood coating as he stands above you, and you fall limp to the ground. As far as you know, it is now Cygnus and Callista alone in this room, conscious.
So we see the blue man Dracula, whoever he is, blue swordsman,
Yeah.
He's in the ice still?
No, he popped out to stab Irene with his ice spike hand.
Is there an opening?
No. There was a opening that lasted only a few moments, which was not taken during the 3 turns, so it is closed.
Jesus. Yeah, I am gonna try to line him up. I'm gonna aim down the barrel of this freaking thing, looking at him as he comes out trying to stab Irene.
Yeah.
And take my shot. Oh! Don't betray me! Betray me. I think. It's glass, right?
Yeah.
6!
6? That is a failure, my friend.
It was bad. It was bound to happen. I got 2 above 10. Like,
as you shoot him with this crossbow, he begins to, like, he's now clear of Irene, as she is, the blood is still on him. He turns and begins to walk to you. Right as this crossbow bolt pierces him, you see a shatter in his skin as it turns translucent, and the spikes shoot out, hitting both you and Irene for 3 damage.
ooh! I am gonna take a major wound.
Okay.
Can I do anything else to not take damage?
Sure, you can take a minor
Okay.
one. You only receive by 1.
Yeah.
Would you like to fall back and recuperate, which means you leave the scene, or would you like to get infected and mark corruption?
Okay, I have a question though.
Sure.
So it would reduce it to 2 harm?
Yes.
Okay, if the track is completely full, does it have to exceed the entire harm track for you to be not good? Or does it need to just equal 5?
It needs to equal 5. When you mark your 5th...
Okay.
When you mark your 5th harm box, something will happen.
Because if I did the one that marks corruption, which is what I would do, it would still have me at 5.
I'll have you live for... we'll mark it, and you'll be around for a little.
Okay. Okay. Yay.
You'll be around for a little.
We'll talk.
For a little bit. I do imagine her eyes are just completely black right now, though.
Her eyes are black, and we see the icicle-like pieces of it begin to melt, and we see blue shooting up her veins.
Yeah. So I wanted to gain advantage on my next attack.
Excellent. Yeah, you have advantage on your next attack. Callista, you are seeing this scene of Irene's bleeding out. He doesn't look great. Cygnus doesn't look great either. What do you do? There is not an opening currently at hand.
Oh, good. Good. I was just going to ask about that. Is there a way for me to... Oh, I guess I could I confront?
Yeah.
I think I'd probably run up to him with my sword and
roll it.
Try to hit him. Don't fuck me. Please, this is really not a good time to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 9.
Okay, pick one. You roll the blow. And when you were going up to hit him, by the way, after he exploded, once again, at that crystal shard, he's in a different crystal on the other side of the room. But he's in it, and you know that's worked.
I will take 1 less harm.
Good. You take 2 harm. As this crystal shatters,
Good.
and he's now on top of you. But he's floundering. You mark 1 contamination.
Got it.
If that's happening, I want to run up while they're distracted, all sneaky and do the whole Trinity dodge this with my crossbow.
Nice. Strike.
Because I have advantage. So
Yeah.
14.
Awesome. You.
Thank God for advantage.
You see this crossbow bolt go directly through his temple into his head, and his eyes roll back, and he falls to the ground as all the crystals around shatter. And you see Callista, your brother, Crimson, lying, gasping for breath on the bottom. So here's what happens as this figure is now down. As it falls to the ground in this snow, just a mouth agape as he does, the snow begins to melt a little bit, and as your hands are searching through his body for anything you can use, it begins to disintegrate into water. And these water droplets begin to form in the air in front of you, creating a crystalline chalice. You are right next to it, Sigus, so it's you hear discordant whispers in your ear. And Irene, you are barely clinging on to life, but you hear them even louder. Just whispering, beckoning you to this chalice.
Don't touch it.
Is this what we're here for? It looks very valuable.
It sounds very bad.
Can't be so bad.
Could you hear that?
I'm gonna move closer to the chalice.
Yeah, you hear the whispers begin to grow a little bit louder as you do.
I'll pick it up.
Okay. You see his hand, you see the hand of their traveling companion grip this chalice as the room begins to fill with white, Callisto running over to probably attend to Crimson as Crimson kind of regains his composure. And you, all the three of you, feel this ground begin to just melt beneath you, and you feel yourself sinking. And a small opening appears on the other side, a small ethereal portal. And you see your comrade grab the chalice as the room begins to flood with white, and either you can stay or leave.
Well, time to roll.
Oh! Yeah.
Good old Sigmund, we hardly knew ye. Start to run to the portal
Okay.
with my sister in tow.
Is the portal the only way out of here? Is
Yes.
that
the
how
room
this
is the room is
okay.
melting. You think you know with some confidence the rest of this place. Like you hear it shaking, you feel it vibrating. You don't think it's going. You're not going to be able to get out the way you came.
In a passing glance, can we look? In a passing glance, can we look where he was? Is there anything noticeable or no?
Yeah. Roll plus glass.
That is 3, 6, 11. Ooh. Plus 0.
Okay. You see him. You see his hands gripping this chalice, and he begins to raise it to his lips as they smile. And that's the last thing you see as you leave the castle. I sent you something, Matthew. You can choose to make it secret. It's on Discord, or you can choose to share it, and I'll read it. The three surviving members are left at the bottom of this craggy water kind of river where you first entered. And you stand alone, injured and bleeding. And the camera fades as the passing of the ages occurs.